Sorry, guys. Happy Tuesday, everybody. This is I Said What I Said, and welcome to the MacMan After Dark show. I am so sorry that it took me so long to get on, but I thought I was going to be done in time, but apparently I wasn't. And so I just want to welcome everybody that's joining us tonight and say hi to everybody that's going to be on the replay because sometimes people can't get in. And so if you could listen to our replay, make sure you like, share, and subscribe and leave a comment, whether you like the show or, whether you don't like the show or just leave us your thoughts. We welcome all comments. And so we appreciate you supporting our channel. And so tonight's topic, we're going to be talking about Wendy Williams. And also, I have a little tea about TD Jakes as well. And I would like to say hello to Yvonne Moore. And hey, Yvonne, how you doing today, tonight? You're more than welcome to click on the StreamYard app and join me on the stage. I would love for you to come up here and talk to me about these two subjects that we're going to talk about. Now, I didn't actually put TD Jakes in the title, but I am going to say a little something about him as well. And Yvonne, let me know if you're having problems with StreamYard, and I can maybe send it to you a different way. But welcome to the show tonight. As I don't know if you guys have heard, but Wendy Williams has taken a turn, guys, and it's not a turn for the good. And so I wanted to talk about that tonight because, like I said, I was never a Wendy Williams fan, but I never want to see anybody do bad. I like for people, to finish out their career. And I feel like she was stifled and she was cut short because of her health problems. Now, while she's having those health problems, a lot of people saying she kind of brought it on herself, but who knows? You never know what's going to happen to you in the future. Today you can be up and tomorrow you can be down. So you never should, judge anybody about what's going on with them. And so, like I said, we want to, first of all, I would like to wish her well and let her know that I am praying for her and she is in my prayers. Bear with me one moment. Let me try to bring, I have a guest on stage. It's saying that your device is not connected. So maybe you need to come out and come back in again. And maybe I can redrop the link as well if that link is not working for you. Just shoot me a comment in the chat and then we'll accommodate you. And so we can try to get you on the stage. But yeah, welcome to our MacMan After Dark show. And yes, I was on this morning. So I'm kind of doing double duty tonight. So I probably won't be on here that long tonight, maybe an hour and a half. And normally that's what I try to do in the evenings anyway. Okay, I got you. We'll do that. And so normally when I do it in the mornings, I definitely kind of give me one moment, Yvonne, and I'll redrop that link for you. Bear with me one moment, guys. I'm gonna try to get my guest on stage. And so, as I was stating, I do the show in the mornings, and it's been kind of busy for me because the Mac Man is on vacation, and so he's kind of left me in charge, and I'm just kind of doing my own thing here. Um, he told me I can have free reign, so hey, that's what it is, and I'm doing what he told me I can do. And really, the night show I do that anyway. I do what I want to do in the evening, but in the morning on our Mac Man morning show. Um, he kind of give us a little guidance of what he want to talk about. And so I just redropped that link. So why don't you re-click it and hopefully that'll work for you. I don't know why it didn't work the first time, but it's technology and you can't control it. A lot of times technology just don't work with us. Like this morning when I was getting ready to go on live, I was panicking because my computer said I didn't have internet. And I normally like to check things out ahead of time so that in case I run into some problems, I'll have time to get it worked out. And I barely made it this morning, but I was glad that, everything worked out. And why my internet went out, I have no clue because I was just on the internet about 30 minutes before it went out. And then when I get ready to do my show, do the show this morning, then it wanted to give me some problems. But that's just how the ball drops sometimes. And so sometimes you just have to work through technology. It's nothing that you can do about it. And I was able to maneuver and work it out, and you kind of work out all of the kinks, kind of something like what we're doing right now, just trying to work out the kinks, because it looked like Yvonne want to join us and join in on this discussion tonight. And I know she'll have plenty to say, and we'll both have plenty to say, because this is a hot topic right now, dealing with Wendy Wiliams. And Wendy took a downfall, I would say probably it's been about a year and a half maybe. And I haven't, and don't quote me on that timeline, because I haven't really looked up the time. And sometimes time can uh, pass by me pretty quickly, because I don't really pay attention to the time anymore, because I don't have to. And that's one thing about being retired. A lot of times you don't keep up with the days and the hours and the minutes. And, it's not like you're on the hustle and the grind like you used to be when you were on the clock. And so I'm very guilty of that, of not paying, of not watching the time correctly. And so I do believe, I know it's been at least a year since Wendy fell ill, and she's had a lot of issues going on with her health. And let's face it, I think it's a shame for you to get old, and then instead of you being able to enjoy your retirement, you have to worry about dealing with illness. And that's why it's very important for us to keep ourselves up to par. When you're young, it's real important for you to go to the doctor. A lot of people don't want to go to the doctor. They don't want to get checked out, and they don't check on themselves. But it's very important, that you keep an eye on your health, and that you check on yourself, because you never know what's going to happen to you down the pipeline. And you definitely always want to be proactive instead of, you want to be proactive instead of reactive when it comes to your health. And so I guess have joined us on the stage. Hello, welcome, Yvonne. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, I said what I said. How are you?
I'm doing great, Yvonne. I was just letting the people
Good.
know. I was letting the people know James on vacation. The Mac man is on vacation, so I have free reign to do what I want to do in the mornings and in the evenings, and I've been kind of enjoying it. I'm not doing too
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. I'm trying to stay within the realms, because I will have to hear his mouth when he do get back. So I definitely,
Mm-hmm.
want to stay within the confines of what he expect me to
Mm-hmm.
do. But it's been kind of hectic, and like I was telling them, this is actually my second show for today, because I was actually on this morning between 9 and 10:20. And you guys, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, join us in the morning, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time and 10 a.m. Eastern Time, for the Mac Man Morning Show. We run it from 9 a.m. to 10:20. So it's not that long either. And if you can't catch us at that time, you can catch us on YouTube. You can always go to YouTube to the Mac Man Morning Show. That's the name of our channel. And you can catch all of our replays, whether you listening to the night show, the after dark show, or you listening to the morning show. And a lot of times, I feel like we have great topics all the time, because I'm the one who's coming up with them. So I always like the topics that we're talking about. And I guess I'm being a little biased, since I do kind of set up the show. And I don't just do it
All
by,
right, well.
huh?
I said, all right, well, now go ahead and toot your horn, honey.
Well, I'm just like I
Toot
said.
your horn.
Yeah, I'm just being a little biased, but I don't set up the show by myself. I do have help, and a lot of times our production manager always, he's always there for us, and anything that we need, he's always there to get it to us. And so we do appreciate our producer, Dr. J, and I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate the whole team, because we do have a great team that we work with, and I really wouldn't want to work with anyone else. And everyone is so professional, so precise, and everybody is good at what they do on the Mac Man Morning Show. So check it out if you guys
Mm-hmm.
haven't checked it out already. And I also want to remind you to like, share, and subscribe to the Mac Man Morning Show, and follow us on TikTok, YouTube, and you can follow us at WKRA 92.5 on Facebook, because we're on that page there. So, Yvonne, tonight I was telling the audience that we're going to be talking about Wendy Williams and her downfall. And I
Uh,
have a little tea about TD Jakes as well, because he's kind of had a downfall himself. And I like this time of the year, the holiday time of the year, and not that I'm putting nobody in the dirt or anything, but a lot of times, a lot of people, become ill at the end of the year, or is no longer with us. And so this time of the year, I really kind of focus on that, and I really pay attention and take heed to what's going on around me around the holiday times. And that's really kind of the worst time of the year for anybody to be sick, or to fall ill or not be here. But nevertheless, it is what it is. So are you getting ready for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I'm getting ready. My turkey is thawing out, and I got all my little side dishes planned out. And actually, tonight when I got home from work,
Mm-hmm.
I because my daughter, she always requests chitterlings for Thanksgiving, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta pick some
Mm-hmm.
chitterlings. So I had to go in there and pick some chitlins. It was only about 5 pounds, so it wasn't a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
I did it really quickly. So yeah, I'm getting myself ready. Ugh, gotta
And
do
she
all this cooking.
Well, is it just gonna be her eating them? Because 5 pounds is really not gonna be that much. I tell you, one time I got some chitlins, Yvonne, and I'm ashamed to say, because it was my very first time cooking them, right? And so I only got, like, how they have them already prepackaged and pre-cleaned at one of the
Hmm,
giant supermarkets. So I got some
yeah.
there, and I didn't realize that you need at least what you say 5 pounds at least if you want to make a decent amount. So I think I probably got maybe those probably a couple packages of those pre-cleaned chitlins, and really thinking I was gonna get some. And the man, I tell you, I cooked them chitlins all night, and missed and stuck up the house all night and tended to them. And girl, when we finished with those chitlins, it was a whole one bowl full. I
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I didn't know what I was doing. It was my very first time cooking them. And so that I
Oh
learned a big
yeah.
lesson. Yeah, you definitely need to get 5 pounds or more if you want to give somebody some chitlins. I learned that lesson the hard way.
Mhm.
Do you normally
Yeah.
eat
Well,
yours when they cleaned
it's
off?
just gonna be me and her.
Oh,
It's
it's
just gonna
just
be
gonna
me
be
and her because
okay.
my son, he doesn't eat them. My grandkids don't eat them. The folks that
Yeah,
are coming over, they don't
they
mess with
don't
them.
eat
So
them.
it's just gonna
Yeah,
be me and her. Yeah, and this time we did get the pre-cleaned ones,
uh-huh.
so it didn't take that long to
Yeah,
clean them. You
right.
got to still
Yeah,
go through them to make
yeah,
sure that all the stuff is off. But yeah, it took maybe about maybe about a good 30 minutes because they were really clean.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
they really clean them
Hmm.
when you get the pre-clean ones. I was totally surprised when I purchased them that time. I thought I was gonna have to do a lot of cleaning. Although I don't eat them, I used to watch my mom clean them, and so I learned how to clean them and cook them. I just never cooked them because I never, really ate them. I probably
Hmm.
tried them when I was about 7 years old, and my stepfather told me what they were, and once he told me what they were, that it turned my stomach. I just couldn't eat them no more after I found out what was really,
Uh-huh.
after I found out what was really going on, and I'm kind of finicky when it comes to food anyway. So that was the wrong thing to tell me on something like that. But nevertheless,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
so you're gonna have all of your kids over for Thanksgiving, or it's just gonna be a small
Mm,
venue, or what have you?
it's
My
gonna
kids,
be, yeah, it's gonna be my kids and my grandkids and a couple
yeah,
of friends. That's it.
yeah,
Yeah, just a small gathering, not a lot of folks.
yeah. I'm gonna have a small gathering too, probably about a group of maybe 6 or 7 at the most, and I'm sure
Hmm.
I'll have people stopping by for whatever reason. Everybody like the dressing that I make, so normally
Oh,
people
okay.
request me to make it, and so nobody requested, and I was kind of happy this year because I didn't really feel like being in the kitchen like that, and
I know
I
that's
really
right.
wasn't supposed to cook at all. And they kind of we were supposed to go out of town, like I said, and so they changed the plan. So they changed the plan, then they put me into the planning of the meal, and I'm like, okay, I don't like this, but I'll go ahead and do it. But nevertheless, it's
Mm-hmm.
the holidays, and so I don't cook that often no more. So the holidays is it's not going to be too bad for me. But Yvonne,
Oh, okay.
I was letting our listening audience know that we're going to be talking about Wendy Williams' devastated news. Have you heard about what's going on with Wendy today?
No, what happened with Wendy?
Okay, well, I'm surprised you haven't seen it on social media. Wendy,
No, I haven't been on social media
oh,
today
you
because when I
haven't.
got home, no,
Mhm.
because when I got home, I had to deal with them chitlins and them hog maws, girl. I even got some hog maws I had to cut up and stuff like that. So I haven't been on social media yet at all.
Okay. Well, let
But
me
no,
play
what's
you.
what's going on?
Well, let me play you this quick video, and then you and I can talk about it, and it'll give you a brief description of what's going on with Wendy. And it's really kind of sad, but it is what it is. And I was just telling our listening audience how important it is to take care of yourself when you're younger, because when you retire, you don't want to retire and be sick. You want to retire and
Hmm.
thrive and live a healthy life, and just do the things that you want to do and not have to be worrying about illnesses and going to doctors and things. But stand by one moment, and I'm gonna bring the first video up, and that'll give you an idea of what's going on with Wendy, and then we'll discuss it on the other side.
Wendy Wiliams' health battle has taken a heartbreaking turn. 9 months after the former TV host's diagnoses with primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia, a new legal filing confirms her health has continued to decline. According to the document obtained by TMZ, Wendy's guardian says the 60-year-old, quote, has been afflicted by early onset dementia and, as a result, has become cognitively impaired and permanently incapacitated. E! News has reached out to reps for Wendy for comment but has not yet heard back. The filing, according to the outlet, is part of ongoing litigation between Wendy's guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, and the Where is Wendy Williams Lifetime documentary. The update comes just 3 months after Wendy made her first public appearance in over a year after her retreat from the spotlight following the end of her talk show in 2022. The former Wendy Williams show host visited a holistic wellness center in her home state of New Jersey on August 19th, accompanied by her 24-year-old son, Kevin Hunter Jr. Earlier this year, when Wendy and her team decided to share her diagnoses publicly, they explained their reasoning for doing so, saying in a February 22nd press release, "The decision to share this news was difficult and made after careful consideration, not only to advocate for understanding and compassion for Wendy, but to raise awareness about aphasia and frontotemporal dementia and support the thousands of others facing similar circumstances." At the time, her care team also affirmed Wendy was receiving proper care, adding, "Most importantly, she maintains her trademark sense of humor and is receiving the care she requires to make sure she is protected and that her needs are addressed." One day later, Wendy herself spoke out about the health news publicly, telling E! News in a statement, "I have immense gratitude for the love and kind words I have received after sharing my diagnosis of aphasia and frontotemporal dementia. Let me say, wow, your response has been overwhelming. Please just know that your positivity and encouragement are deeply appreciated."
Wow.
Okay, we like to thank E News for that clip. Yeah, I like to give them their props, but yeah, that's what's going on with Wendy, and I'd like to welcome Q Law to our chat. How you doing tonight, Q Law? Thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, Q Law.
Um, I don't know what to say. What do you think about that, Yvonne?
I don't know what to say. I mean, because I know that she has been battling some form of dementia for a while now, and dealing with her health, and then going through a bunch of private family things about like who's going to take care of her and take care of her business and things like that. And um, the last that I heard was that her son has stepped up to the plate, to step into, to be her caregiver. But it sounds like through this video here is that she's gotten a little bit worse than what she was about a year ago. So, and they're saying she's incapacitated. That's terrible. Just as terrible.
Yeah,
Wow.
it seems like she's going down, m-
Hmm.
progressively going down, and so that's not good news. But I'm
No.
afraid that she probably never really stopped drinking either, because on that documentary she was already doing pretty bad, but she was still sneaking to the liquor store. Now I don't have any
Right.
proof. I don't have, any documentation or proof that that's what's going on. I just suspect that she never really stopped, doing what she needed to do to get herself together. And at one point, it looked like she was going to come back together, but I don't know. At different times in that documentary, it looked like she was doing okay, and then at times it looked like she was, looking worse. This is the question that
Mm-hmm.
I have. I don't trust this conservator that she have, right? And she was under the radar a couple of months ago, maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Her family filed a lawsuit so that they could take over her affairs instead of someone that doesn't know her. And so I just wonder if that lady, if that lady, I can't think of a name right now. I just had a brain freeze. But her conservator, I wonder if this is really true and if Wendy has, digressed a little bit, or is this lady just saying that so that she can stay over her affairs? I didn't like the way that they took over her money and finances in the beginning, because how is a bank gonna just, you file a lawsuit? The lady name is Sabrina. So Sabrina filed this lawsuit and had Wells Fargo to shut down her funds. And Wells Fargo, agreed and did all of that. I just don't think that a bank has a right to take over your finances, whether you incapacitated or not, because even if you are incapacitated, you have family members. She had a son, she had a father, she
Mm-hmm.
had a brother, she had a sister. And for what I understand, her sister is a lawyer. So if her sister is a lawyer, she's qualified to be a conservator, in my opinion. She's smart enough to look over Wendy funds and, be over that. Now, I haven't looked up the law about, how that goes and why they wouldn't allow her family to take care of that, but that just seemed really strange to me. And
Yeah,
that
that's weird. That's
right,
really weird that a bank is
yeah,
taking over a person's affairs. Now, I don't know, maybe she didn't have things in place, like a living will or something like that, to name her family, a certain family member to take care of her affairs if she became, ill or anything like that. And that's why it's so very important for people to really research that out. You really need to get your affairs together while while you're in your right mind, because I had no idea a bank that someone outside your family could go and do a lawsuit and have
mhm.
a bank to take over your affairs, especially when you have family members that
And a
are willing
judge
to
signed
do
off
it.
on it. And a judge signed off on it. So
And
it's all
right, see
questionable to
that's
me.
weird.
And then they're spending all of her money, and they're spending it the way they want to. And at one time they were saying that, she was going to lose her home because of the taxes was
Mm,
passed due. And so I just
mm,
think, it's a money grab. Britney
mm-hmm,
Spears experienced the same thing with her parents, and she had to go back to court and sue her parents, to take control over her own money. Now I don't know if Britney
mm-hmm.
to do that, because after she did that, she was doing some kind of, unorthodox things online that just didn't look quite right, as if they were actually right to take over her affairs. But
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
nevertheless, I just don't agree with a stranger taking over over our affairs, because let's keep it real. Most of us, as the Black community, we don't take care of, unfortunately, we don't feel like we have enough, for someone to be over us or to take care of our affairs. And in actuality, we do. If you own a home, that's enough. If you have any
Right,
assets, you have any property, you have any money in the bank, whether it's a big amount or a small amount, you still need to put somebody over that. You need a medical
right.
power of attorney. And I can tell you a story about medical power of attorney, because I experienced that myself with my brother. And let me tell you, it's a big old legal tangle web. And like you said, if you haven't made provisions ahead of time, it is very difficult and very hard for you to be able to even make medical decisions that's in the best interest of your family member. They just had to deal with me, and I actually won. I won, right?
Uh-huh.
Because I wasn't playing with her, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I know,
yeah,
girlfriend.
yeah. And so I had to pull out all the stops. I had to get I had to put some tricks out of my book, and I had to get
Mm-hmm.
real, I had to get real ingenious on how to get my brother back, because he went in
Mm-hmm.
for a regular stint, and it turned into a fiasco because the hospital made a mistake. And when they made that mistake, my brother was almost out of there. And
Mm.
right. And so he was getting ready, like when you get ready to go to surgery, they ask you, and it's very important that you pay attention to those papers, because those papers is what cover them. When you get ready to go to surgery and they tell you to sign over there, sign for them to do that surgery, make sure you read those documents, because it's very important, because that's what cover their butt, is those documents. When you
Mm-hmm.
sign on a dotted line and say that they can go in there and do whatever, then they kind of take the responsibility off of them and put it on you and say, well, you said that I could do this, and we
Mm-hmm.
and we
Mm-hmm.
couldn't guarantee that it was going to be 100%. Here it is on the dotted line, and they automatically know when you're in dire distress and your loved one is in the hospital, or even you're in the hospital. You're not going to read those papers. You just go, okay, let me sign this, let's get this done, and let's go and do what we got to do to save this person's life. And so
Mm-hmm.
my brother had a major heart attack, and before the chaplain was supposed to be on his way for him to give me medical power of attorney, but he took a turn before the chaplain could get there, and it could just happen in the blink of an eye. And so
Right.
I had to fight tooth and nail to get my brother back, because they made a mistake and they care flighted him from one hospital to a next hospital. And if you would have drove that distance, it's only a 15-minute drive. And so they know they made a mistake if they took him from one hospital to the next, and he coded while he was in the air on a 15-minute drive in your car. So in a helicopter, it only take you 5 minutes. And if you can code,
Mm.
yeah. And so he came in out of there, and they had to bring him back, and they had him on about 14 different machines. Every machine for your body organ, they had him on there. And so he wasn't a celebrity or anything. So why are you doing all of this, if you didn't make a mistake? So they let you know they made a mistake.
Right.
And me
Yep.
being
That
who
let you
I
know.
am, yeah, me being who I am, like I told him, y'all broke him, so get him back together.
Yeah. 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 And
Yeah.
it's important. For us to get those affairs in order.
Mhm.
My niece with my sister, when my sister's health started declining, they immediately, got stuff in order like the medical power of attorney and things like that. And
You have
so my
to.
niece
You
was,
have to.
her power of attorney, and
Mhm.
she was on top of everything. They couldn't do anything without getting my niece's permission, for any
Well,
kind of
yeah,
surgeries or anything like that. So it's very important to have someone. It has to be legal, something binding, and it's important to have that.
well, I'm not going to harp on
Uh,
this too long, because my story is way too long. Really, I should write a book about it. But I'm
Oh,
serious
but
when
let
I
me
tell you
let me
that.
just say this about this topic,
Yeah,
because I know you guys are doing the kind of like a series on the morning show regarding getting your finances and things together, in this trying political time that we're having. And one thing people should also know is that you can sign paperwork and declare someone a beneficiary over your bank accounts. You can actually do that. So if something happens to you, the person that you assign as your beneficiary on that account, excuse me, has access to your money, and they have access to your money in the bank. Be
yeah,
cool
I
with
had to
that.
learn
So
that the hard.
yeah.
I had to learn that the hard way,
Hmm.
also, Yvonne. So yeah, um,
Yeah.
I've really had a lot go on in my life that I never knew that I was going to take that turn like that.
Right. Right. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
sound it sound like we have an echo. Go ahead and try to mute while I'm talking, and then when you get ready to speak, I'll mute, so that we
Uh,
won't echo
Okie dokie.
the show. But my brother stayed on life support for 52 days, and let me tell you, I was at that hospital for 52 days. And normally they don't keep you on life support no longer than a week or so. And so I wouldn't let them pull the cord, because I was just like your niece. I was on top of everything, but I didn't know. I researched it, and it's very important, like Yvonne said. You always want to make sure, even if it's nothing wrong with you, always have a beneficiary for your bank account, because it's very hard for your loved ones to make that decision. And I had to find out the hard way. Sisters don't have as much power as kids do. And sometimes the kids are not mentally stable enough to make that type of decision that need to be made. A lot of times they just listen to what the doctors say. And I listen to what the doctors say, but I got another doctor upstairs that I listen to also. So I use both of the doctors and I came out on top. Let's just put it that way. And they told me my brother was not going to make it, and my brother lived 7 years after that. As a Black person, we have to be very careful about these hospitals also, because they don't care that much about us. In their budget, they put in their budget for so many people to not be here per year. So guess who gets in that budget? Guess who meet that budget for them? It's us. And so you can have your loved one go to the hospital today and they not be here tomorrow. That's part of why they're not here anymore. It's because in their I was just taken back when I was in college and I found out that the hospital uh, estimate how many people are going to make it out the hospital and how many people are going to have to go, to the other place. So I just thought that was astounding. But getting back to Whitney, to Wendy's guardian took over her I say it's been about a year ago. And this lady has dwindled a lot of Wendy funds. When we watched that documentary, we saw how many people were in Wendy's pocket, how she was having to wait all day for them to even bring her breakfast. It was lunchtime before that lady actually got a breakfast. Before anybody would get back with her, she was calling and saying, "Hey, I need to eat. I'm hungry." And they wouldn't even bring the lady nothing to eat. She had to wait till 12 for lunchtime to to eat breakfast. And then when they did bought her breakfast, it was cold. It was just really unsatisfactory. And so it's like everybody was getting rich off of her. And this lady is going through, in my opinion, this conservator is really, Sabrina is really going through Wendy's money. And she did have a loss. She had a lawsuit herself. Somebody brought a lawsuit against Sabrina to try to take her off of the conservatorship because she's going through Wendy's money. And it's not so much that she's going through it also. When you have a conservatorship over your life, you have to pay different lawyers. You have to pay for basically everything. So everything that needs to be paid for, Sabrina is taking these funds out of Wendy's money. And in my opinion, if they keep her on the case, Kevin Jr. is not going to have a quarter left. If something ever happened to his mom, it appears that they just really going through this lady's money as if it was their money. And I'll go ahead and mute Yvonne and let you elaborate on that and see if you have any points that you would like to make about that.
Okay, so actually, this Sabrina person, so the bank is actually allowing her to use the money any way she wants. So if the bank is the person in charge of her funds or whatever, the bank is actually allowing the Sabrina person to do whatever she wants with the funds. They're not saying anything. They're not stepping in and trying to put some guardrails around how the money is spent.
Well, the lady is coming up with expenses, and when you have a conservatorship, you do have to show receipts of monies that you're spending. But if you watch that documentary, and even after the documentary, the lady was behind on Wendy's taxes on her penthouse, and she was in jeopardy of losing that. Now, I didn't continue to keep up with it, and I should have did a little bit more research to see if she actually still had her penthouse. And Q Law, if you know about that, you definitely can. Put that in the chat, and you're welcome to come to the stage and talk to us too, Q Law. That's what I have the link in the chat for, so we don't mind that. The more the merrier for me. But yeah, you can spend the money. It's just like having guardianship over a child. You make all the decisions for the child within bounds, as long as you're not mistreating the child or doing anything to the child. Now, she can't buy herself anything personally, but we know how smart people are. They can divert those funds. You can anybody can produce a receipt online if they're smart enough. It's people producing check stubs online to say that people make their own resume up these days, and they create check stubs saying that they worked at this place and that place. So basically, online is a tool where you can use and you can do anything you want to. You can be whoever you want to be online, and you can make anything that you want to online. So who's to say that she's not manipulating some of the previous receipts? Because all you have to do is just change the date. You know what I mean? on something that you've
Right.
purchased. So for instance, she says she's paid a house payment for Wendy, or she's paid taxes for Wendy, and she paid them, or whatever expense that she say that she paid for Wendy. Because keep in mind, Wendy doesn't have like a cook to come in and cook for her. She's eating out every meal. So according to that documentary, they was going to go get her lunch, breakfast, and supper. So nobody was in. She didn't have like a personal chef, and she really didn't have any. She didn't have like, she had a personal assistant, but the personal assistant was kind of like whatever Wendy said she wanted to do. The personal assistant was like, if she wanted to go to the liquor store, she drove her there, knowing that that's not something that Wendy needed, knowing that that was going to make her health even worse. But she was like, she's grown and that's what she want to do. I'm going to let her do what she want to. It's her money. I have no control over that. But meanwhile, she's taking a paycheck. Oh, it was sold. So Creole say the penthouse was sold in 2024. So make that make sense. And why? Why was her penthouse sold? Why wouldn't you just, Wendy, have enough money to pay her taxes? And so that's what I'm saying. This lady is just going through this lady's money like it's her own personal money. And so I don't agree with this conservatorship. But Britney Spears said her family was spending her money the way they want to. But yes, the bank will allow that to happen. The bank would allow those transactions to go through, as long as it doesn't look, as long as it doesn't look like anything suspicious. Now, when Kevin Jr. was taking care of her, he took her shopping, and that's the reason why they took control from him and gave it to Sabrina, because he took Wendy
Oh,
shopping. And Wendy shop, she's a star. Wendy liked Fendi and Gucci and Louis Vuitton. She's gonna spend money on herself. She's always spent money on her clothes and bags and what have you, and so on and so forth. But when he took his mom shopping, that was a red flag for the bank and for the court. So that's the reason why
oh,
because
okay.
Kevin Jr. was taking care of her at first, but they took in other words, they took the purse from him and put this clear lady in charge. And so she doing what she want to with Wendy's money. Just my opinion.
Oh, okay. So the son was actually taking care of her at first.
He
And
was.
so they didn't like, okay, so they didn't like the way that he was treating his own mom. So
Mm-hmm.
they came in and what they filed some kind of lawsuit for this Sabrina person to become the conservatory person, or is that how
Yeah,
that went?
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Wells Fargo. See, what happened was Wells Fargo froze her funds. And once they froze her assets so that no money, so that way Kevin Jr. and no one else in her family could spend her money, they froze her bank account, and then they appointed a conservator, and then the court approved the conservator.
Got it. Got it. See, that's why
It's
it's
just like
important
it's just
for you
like
to
if
have
you
somebody on file.
well, it is, because it's just like if you had your son over your bank account and you became sick, and your son say, well, mom, you told your son to go out and go get you a new car, and he go do that. And it's just like anything, even if you're not sick, if you like it, with my bank account, I have a certain amount that I can spend, and Kevin Jr. may have not been aware of what her limit was. So he just took her shopping. He was just spending money the way she wanted him to spend it. And Wendy have a high taste. So I guess it was a flag at the bank. Hey, this money is being spent. It's just like your credit card. You make a big purchase, they're gonna send you an email or a text message and say, hey, did you make this purchase? This purchase went through your bank account. The bank do watch your money and they try to prevent fraud. But Kevin Jr. was not fraud in their account, in my opinion. And
Yeah, he was just
Q-Law said that the penthouse sold for $3.75 million, but she purchased it for 4.5 million. So she lost money on it.
okay. And
That's
so who got the money? Who got the $3.75 million?
well,
I
the
mean, you
bank.
sold it. Who got it? The bank got it.
Yeah, it's in the bank in the
Oh,
conservative.
that's crazy.
It is. It's
That's
all crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, and so I don't agree with conservators. And like you said, it's always good to make one of your kids in charge of you and in charge of your money in case something happens to you. And that was very great advice that you told everybody, to make sure you have a beneficiary on your bank account, because I have both of my children on my bank account. I have both of my children on my annuity. I have my home is, as far as your house go, you really don't have to worry about willing your house because it's going to automatically go to your kids. But if you have a problem with one of your children and you want the other one, you feel like the other one is going to be more responsible, put that one over it that you feel like it's responsible. But before you do that, keep in mind they do, your taxes may go up, because if your kid have a nice job, that happened to my niece. Her grandmother put her over her home. Instead of putting her son, she allowed my niece to be over it because she feel like my niece is more more responsible. However, her taxes went up because they went by my niece's income, and I didn't know they could do that. That was an eye opener for me. I had no idea that your taxes
Oh,
would
I didn't know
increase.
that either.
I
I
didn't
didn't
either.
know that either.
But her taxes did increase just because they and that's what my sister told me, that they computed my niece's income, and that's what made her grandmother taxes go up, which is crazy. But nevertheless, you have to keep updated with the laws when it comes to purchases, when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your health. You got to be very vigilant, and as a black community, we are not aware of a lot of things. And so it's very important to look into those type things. Whether you sick or not, you never know, when your midnight hour is going to come. And I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, but look at, things just happen, unfortunately. So you just never know. So you always want to be ready, and you always want to have everything in place. And you definitely, insurance companies, when you buy life insurance, they make you put a beneficiary down. So that's one portion of your life that the insurance company help you do. But all the other entities don't tell you anything. When you open up a bank account, they'll say, "Do you want a beneficiary?" And you young and healthy and thriving. And let's keep it real. Some people had their bank account 25 or 30 years. So they was much younger. So
Mhm.
now I don't need no beneficiary. I'm the beneficiary. You know how we are. I don't need nobody over my
Right.
money, but yes, you do.
Yeah, you do. You really
Yeah,
do. And even with your 401k, even when you're still working and you're putting into your 401k, you should have a beneficiary on your 401k as well. So
because it'll
don't
go
just
back
sit
to that
there and
company if you
think,
don't.
right. Don't just sit there and say, oh, well, I'm still working. I'm going to get my 401k, but you never know what's going to happen. And like you say, you don't want to be gloom and doom, but these are the things we must think of, right? We must think about these things. So if you're working and you're, paying into your 401k, just make sure that you also have a beneficiary over that, just in case something happens to you, that beneficiary, whoever you pick, will receive your 401k. So
That's
that's
exactly
important
right.
as well.
Yeah, when I was
Yeah.
working, they were telling me, if you don't put anybody on your retirement, not so much your 401k, because your kids are automatically gonna be the beneficiary of that. It's just that you have to make sure you let them know, and they're gonna have to go through a lot of legality to get the money. To make it easier, just put a beneficiary down, and you don't have to worry about all of that. But with my
Right.
retirement, that because keep in mind, retirement from a company and 401k is separate entities. And so with the retirement from the company, if I didn't put the beneficiary down as my children, the company get to keep that money. So make sure you pay attention to your finances and to your affairs, and make sure you have all your affairs in order. And if you're unsure, you can always contact a lawyer, and it doesn't cost that much money for them to set up you some type of will, or to help you make the right decision on how you want your money divvied up, if and when that time comes. And so a lot of times we don't want to discuss those type things, but it need to be discussed, and people need to think about that. And one more thing, as a black community, get some insurance, people. Don't nobody want to be selling those spaghetti plates if something happened to you. Don't nobody want to be selling spaghetti and chicken trying to put you in the dirt. Please get some insurance, everybody.
Well,
I think,
at least get some. At least if you don't want to get if you don't want to do a life insurance policy, you can always get burial insurance.
yeah, or just go
You can
to the
always
funeral
get
home.
that.
Yeah, or just go to the funeral home and take care of your business, and that way you good.
Right. Yeah.
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 But
Absolutely.
yeah, I recommend that you just go to the funeral home, if you don't want to pay a monthly fee and it's going to be a short-term cost. And so you just pay it out. And then once something happened to you, it's already a done deal. You
It's a
just got
done
to make
deal.
sure. Yeah. And most of the time, the funeral home don't go out of business because they always got customers. That's one business that
Yes, they
thrives.
do.
Yes, ma'am. That's one company that thrive. And most of the time they keep it in the family. And when daddy go ahead and leave, kids go ahead, the kids be right there to take it up. Because you're always gonna have a customer at a funeral home. And it's a great business to get off into also, if you're thinking
Oh
about
my
setting up
God.
a business. Well, it's one business that you're gonna always make money in.
Well, that's
Everybody
true.
can't do it. Yeah, everybody can't do it personally. I wouldn't work there personally. But if you're
Mm-mm,
thinking about going into business and you don't have to be
mm-mm.
hands-on, you can hire everybody to do the job. It's just that it's always gonna be a moneymaker. It's like the hospital, it's a revolving door. You're always gonna have a customer,
That's
unfortunately.
true. That's true. Well, I'm good with that. I'm good with starting a funeral home business. I'm good. I'm all right with that.
You're all
Yeah,
right with
somebody
that.
else can
You
go
go
ahead and have
fast.
that. Y'all
Yeah.
can have all of that. I'll pass on that
Well,
one.
because at the end of the day, if you're going to start that as a business, you do need to know all aspects of your business. So you will have to be there for some of the festivities that goes on behind the scenes. But I just want to give out a little information about that. Not to make light of it or nothing, but like I said, we don't like discussing these things, but it has to be said. Somebody got to bring it up. And
Yeah,
I
those are things that have to be discussed. A lot of
yeah,
people don't like to discuss them, but it has to be discussed. It's
and I
important.
want I want to play this other video, and it's a video of Wendy when she first publicly became on the scene, and I just want you guys to see how she looked and how she was doing at that time. It's been about a month ago, and that just lets you know how fast she turned. So bear with me. Stand by one moment and let me play this video for you guys.
Wendy Williams was just spotted out more than a year after being kept in a facility for dementia and past substance abuse.
I will smoke what I smoke, and I will liquor when I liquor.
Smiling and looking trim, the 60-year-old former talk show queen posed with a New Jersey health food store clerk who tells ET Today son Kevin Hunter Jr. was helping her walk.
Difficult condition to walk a little bit. Kevin tried to support her mentally. She got some product from the store. It's going to help the inflammation from your brain, help with mental clarity.
There's something wrong going on.
Back in February, Wendy's 24-year-old son and her family appeared in a Lifetime doc where they raised concerns her legal guardian was hiding Wendy from them. Now it seems they've reunited and Kevin appears to be a caretaker.
She's going to be in Florida to be with Kevin. His family going to be involved, so it's more easy to try to help her.
Okay, let's see.
Wendy
Let me take it
Williams
back
was
out.
just spotted out more than a year after being kept in.
I'm sorry. Sometimes this computer go a little bit faster than what you do. But so that was just a month ago, and it said that Kevin Jr. is taking care of her now. Now, is he over her finances? I don't know, because in the documentary, like as you heard, her family really didn't even know where she was at. That lady, yeah,
Hmm.
that Sabrina lady, and those other people that was around her. She had this one guy that was supposed to be taking care of her. Really, he was trying to put her back to work, and she couldn't work, so I don't know why he was trying to do that, but she kept telling him, I want to go to work, I want to go to work. And everybody around her knew that this lady was not healthy enough to do anything other than to get up every day and try to make it through the day. She was in no condition to try to go back to work. She really wasn't even in condition to go try to cook herself something to eat. And I don't even know if she's been a star for so long, she probably wasn't never even cooking for herself anyway. I'm pretty sure she's always had somebody to do those things for her. But
Hmm.
they were taking her on auditions and trying to sign her up to, for different gigs, and just doing the most instead of, having sympathy for the lady. But that's what happens when you have money and people are greedy and they don't care about you. Sometimes, people will just use you for whatever they can, and they don't care about the consequence, and they don't care about you as long as they can get a paycheck. So I hope and pray that since Kevin is taking care of her, look, little Kevin is taking care of her. I hope and pray that they got all those other people out of her orbit so that she don't have to worry about, spending money trying to take care of people who really don't have her best interests at heart.
Right, right. That's my prayer as well. That that her family is really looking out for her because I don't know, it doesn't sound like she's doing too well. So
No,
yeah.
and so um, I don't know. It's a hard pill to swallow, and it's hard to try to figure out what's going on with her because you are having twists and turns in this story, and so I just wish her well. I really do, and I hope she can. I know she's probably not going to recover because if she's digressed, the disease that she have, dementia, don't get better; it get worse.
Right, right. It does get worse.
Yeah, and
And
kilos.
Q was saying that it was the type of dementia that you get from alcohol use. So
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
is.
I wasn't aware of that either.
Oh, you
Yeah.
wasn't? Oh, yeah, yeah. That's why I
Mm-mm.
said in the beginning, I think, she kind of caused this on herself from over drinking.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
And
she
a lot
said
of it could have
herself,
been. Mhm.
and she said herself that she used to do drugs back in the day. So I just think it's a combination of drinking and drugging and just, living a bad lifestyle.
Right, and really not eating healthy because I know you were saying that they really weren't feeding her. She didn't
Mm-mm.
have a private chef or anything, and they were ordering food from restaurants and stuff. And sometimes, you can become more healthier if you start watching what you eat and cooking instead of always going out to restaurants and eating all this fast food and all that garbage food out in the streets. So maybe she would have had a chef. Maybe it wouldn't have progressed as bad as it has become. You know what I mean? By eating
Mhm.
healthier foods and things like that, and supplements, vitamin herbal supplements and things of that nature. So it just looked like they just didn't care. They fed her what they wanted to feed her, and so that probably made it worse too.
It did, and that guy that you saw on the last video with her, he was at a health store, and he was supposed to
Hmm.
be trying to give her some natural things to try to help her overcome her illness. And a lot of times you got to be careful about those type of stores, also those nature
Hmm.
stores and stuff. They're not, the FDA don't approve them. They're not, they haven't been vetted by the FDA, and a lot of times those people just come up with their own solutions and stuff. And so you can, unfortunately, you can sell things in America and not have the FDA put their stamp on it, and still you can get away with it. You just have, I don't know how they get over the liability if something happens to somebody, but this is America. We can, we got a loophole for everything. So I'm sure they dot the I's and cross the T's so that they won't be responsible. And I'm sure they tell you on the labels, it's not FDA certified. And so you just have to be, cognizant, vigilant, and kind of smart, be smart enough to watch out for your own health, like you say. I just think it had already progressed that far, though, Yvonne. I think it had went so far. And as of last year, she was still drinking. So she wasn't helping herself in the situation. And so she, for her not to really stop, and as the video said, she's been in and out of rehab, so it's not like she haven't tried. And I can just imagine the struggle that she had, because she had two demons she was having to deal with, drinking and pharmaceuticals. And so that's just so hard. It's just such a hard combination. It's just so hard to try to get off of. I'm not saying that you can't do it, but you got to have a strong willpower um, to stop a habit, that, especially if it's a habit that you've been doing for a long period of time. And it's, I know the 12-step program, they say you have to take it one day at a time. Once you become an alcoholic, you're always one, and you always have to realize that. So you're going to fall off the wagon, and so many people do. And so, unfortunately, she just never could shake it. And so now it's gotten to the point to where she really, what they're saying is she don't really know, even, she has the stage of dementia where she don't even, I'm pretty sure, recognize people at this point. She's probably at the progression state where she's not being able to recognize anybody because they said she can't take care of herself at all at this point. And it's
Oh,
sad.
wow.
Such
Mm.
a, Wendy Williams was such an icon, and Wendy Williams is probably one of the reasons why you have content creators right today. Okay, she started this celebrity gossip stuff. She's like kind of one of the pioneers to start celebrity gossip. I really wholeheartedly believe if it wasn't for Wendy Williams, we wouldn't have so many content creators on YouTube telling stories about all the stars and stuff because she was like one of the first ones to do that on the radio in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and Diddy used to hate her because she used to call him out all the time, and he really had he sent somebody up there to beat her up at the studio, and she actually had to move.
What?
Yes, he had people after her because she was calling him out. And that's when she left. She left New York to go work in Philadelphia because of Diddy. Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God, girl, I didn't know.
Well, they
What
all in
the
New York.
heck?
It's New York, New York.
Oh my Lord. Okay, all righty then. Well, he shouldn't have probably been doing some of the stuff he was doing then.
Well,
How about that?
she was just letting us know the double life that he was living. And you know how it was in the 90s. You couldn't tell nobody that if you went another way, that's the way you wanted to go. That wasn't acceptable in the 90s like that. It's real acceptable today. And it was becoming acceptable, but it wasn't quite out there like that. People were still in the closet in the 90s. And so Wendy brought him out the closet. Not only just Diddy, she talked about Lil Kim, she talked about Mary J. Blige. Wendy talked about everybody.
Yeah, she talked about everybody. She
Yeah,
had the tea on everybody.
everybody. Because she was, especially the people in New York, because she was right there with them. And her
Hmm.
husband, remember, Kevin Sr. used to sell pharmaceuticals. So I'm sure he was selling pharmaceuticals to the rich people, probably sold to Diddy. And I'm
More
not
than
really.
likely.
Yeah, but more than likely, he probably was, supplying Diddy with his sugar. And so
Oh, okay.
his powder sugar.
So Q Law just posted something in the chat. He was saying, what do you think about the lawsuit that her ex-husband filed? So her ex-husband, since you brought her ex-husband up, so he has filed a lawsuit as well
Hmm.
against who? The Sabrina girl?
Yeah, he want to get paid because remember he's supposed to be getting paid alimony. And
Oh God.
when she got sick, when the conservator took over her money, those payments stopped.
Okay, so he has filed a lawsuit to get his alimony, and the woman is on her way to heaven. Okay,
Hmm.
nice, real nice.
Hmm.
Mm.
But she wasn't on her way to heaven then. He did that last year when the conservator really, I mean, and Q Law can give me her thoughts about this. Kevin is the first person to call Sabrina out, okay? Because Sabrina was just going through Wendy's money, okay? And Kevin was the one who put her on blast. And so he said, people need to watch this lady, that she was spending Wendy's money and that she wasn't, something wasn't right about her. And so, especially when they stopped, because Wendy was paying him alimony, and when those payments stopped, that's when Kevin um started talking, because like she's saying, he was receiving $112,000 for alimony per month. Is that per month or per year, Q Law? But he's suing for $112,000. That's not his monthly payment, but that's how much behind Wendy is, because once they got a divorce, Wendy had to pay him, unfortunately.
Okay, okay,
And
okay.
so he is the villain, but he's also the victor. I mean, he's also putting Sabrina out on blast. And I wholeheartedly believe if Kevin and Wendy would have stayed together, Wendy would have been better off, unfortunately. Not mentally, but physically, if I can put it that
Mm-hmm.
way. Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty
Mm-hmm.
sure Kevin is what kept her on track. And you notice she didn't go down until after Kevin left. And Wendy have always done lines and stuff. She's always, she's told us that she was on that stuff in the 90s. She told us, it's not something that is allegedly or something that I heard or gossipy. Wendy said this out of her own mouth that she's done, that she's done pharmaceuticals off and on, all the way from the 90s all the way up to now. And so Kevin, I feel like, was her savior as far as keeping her here and keeping her healthy and making sure that she did the right things. It's just that he had a whole baby mama living
Mm.
10 minutes away from them.
Oh. Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So Q-Law said that's how much money is owed to her. So when the conservator took over, she took over in April 2024. And so that's how much has been owed to Kevin. And so Q-Law, do you think Kevin is since he put the conservator out, do you feel like Kevin is right or wrong or in between, because he is seeking money and the lady is sick, but he kept her drugs at a bay. He allowed her to use them, but he didn't allow her to, just, overdo it. Let's put it that way. But I really feel like she probably was in rehab and she was doing great until she found out about, Sabrina living 10 minutes away from them, and Kevin had bought her a whole house and they had a whole baby.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, you just said Sabrina. So
Not
wait a
Sa-
minute.
not Sabrina. Serena. His girlfriend name is Sarita or something like that, and
Oh,
and the
okay.
conservator lady name is Sabrina. And
Oh, I was
so
about to say, child, that's real messy. If the conservative was was the
no,
baby mama living down the street, oh my God.
yeah, the baby mama was living around the corner.
Mm.
And
Mm.
so let me find out what this lady name is. I think her name's Sharita or something like that. It's real close to the conservator's name. Their names are very, very close. But she was living around the corner, and Kevin bought her a home, and that's when Wendy. Remember? Do you remember when Wendy fell out at work?
Yes, I do remember that.
Mm-hmm. That's when Wendy had found out that Sharita, whatever, I think her name was Sharita. When that's when she had found out about Sharita having that's at that time. That's when they were getting ready to, they was going through the divorce, and it was
Uh-huh.
breaking up. She had just found out about this lady, and she found out that
Oh,
he had bought this lady a house. But he used her money. And I don't know if it was all her money, because he was a big time, pharmaceutical seller. Now, he wasn't that poor when they first met.
yeah.
He didn't have Wendy's money, but he wasn't broke either. Sharina, yeah, that's her name, Sharina. Her name
Sharina.
her name Sharina, and a conservative name is Sabrina.
Oh wow. That's
I know,
close.
very close, very, very
That's
close.
very close now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And so, she just Wendy taking a turn, and I hope and pray that she be okay. But I'm skeptical, because I've been around. I've taken care of people that had dementia, because I used to do home health care. I know you guys say I've had a lot of jobs, and I have. I've worked in a lot of fields. I've worked 37 years, and it wasn't at the same place. And so I've had a lot of experience in a lot of different areas. So I did used to do home health care, and I used to take care of this guy that had dementia. And it got to the because dementia affect you different ways. Now, he couldn't swallow. He forgot how to swallow, and it constricted his throat muscles. And so that's why I feel like, maybe she, maybe can't recover from this, because it may not affect her swallowing, but it may affect her memory. And you just kind of become a little child. It affect you in different ways. But I want to turn
Mhm.
the page, because we're going to be getting off of here in about 15 minutes. So in about 20 minutes. So I want to go to TD Jakes. And I
Okay, here we
know.
go.
Yeah, here we go. I got to go to the pool, Peter. I'm sorry. But,
I'm on with it.
TD Jakes froze on TV in church on Sunday, right? Did you hear about that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I heard about that.
Okay, everybody heard about that. So now
Yeah.
the people are saying that he's improving. I got a quick video I'm going to show you about TD Jakes, and then we're going to talk about him on the other side. We're going to let him close out the show. So give me one moment.
Bishop T.D. Jakes is recovering after having what his church is calling a slight health incident during service yesterday. He's led the Potter's House in Dallas for decades, has been an advisor to multiple presidents. Fox 4's Stephen Dial joins us now live with more. Stephen.
T.D. Jakes is a worldwide recognized name in the religious community, and yesterday, before thousands, something went wrong. What that wrong was, we don't know officially, but his family says that he's recovering.
I know that today's been an interesting day for us.
A tough day.
It was an emotional Sunday for Bishop T.D. Jakes' family, staff, and congregation. While the details of the health scare have not been released, his daughter, Sarah Jakes Roberts, and her husband reported some good news on Sunday night.
Obviously, today could have been a tragic day, but it wasn't. By the mercy of God, by the grace of God, Bishop is doing well. He's recovering well. He's under medical care. He's strong. We're trying to get him to sit down. He's the strong bishop that we know.
I still love to preach. I ain't tired of preaching.
Bishop Jakes started his Sunday like he's done every week, making a post on social media ahead of service. The post said, quote, "Our real meal for Thanksgiving is the Word of God." Hours later, at the conclusion of the service, Jakes experienced what his megachurch called a, quote, "slight health incident." We aren't showing the moment, but thousands in person and online saw Jakes pause, his head slumped over, and his body shaking. Staff and members of the church then surrounded him. Since the incident, religious leaders and others have posted prayers on social media for the longtime church pastor. Jakes has led the Potter's House in Dallas for nearly 30 years, presiding over services that reach tens of thousands in person and online. He served as an advisor to multiple presidents and was a featured speaker at the inauguration of President Barack Obama. But Thanksgiving days away, his daughter put the incident in context for her family.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that he's already beginning to improve. And I think it's just a reminder, even going into this holiday season week, to love on the people who you hold near and dear and just take the time to be grateful for all the people God's given you.
At this hour, there has not been any Monday statement from the Potter's House or from the Jakes family. The latest update was that video that was posted by his daughter last night.
Okay, we like He gonna be all right, Yvonne. We like to thank Fox News for that news clip. And so it looked like and in my opinion, he probably had a slight stroke or heart attack. With the shaking, it seems like a heart attack, because when you have a heart attack, your whole body jerk and shake. I like I said, I got experience in watching somebody do that. I watched my brother have a massive heart attack, and it's very scary. But I think Jakes is under stress. He has a new lawsuit that he just filed against this one guy who accused him of SA-ing him previously. I think about a decade ago. And, why you wait a whole decade, I don't know. But anyway, and then, a couple of months ago, they had him, the FBI was investigating him about Diddy, right? So he's tangled up in that web also. And I just think just the pressure of having to file a lawsuit, being included in Diddy's mess, doing his church. He's an author. He's a pastor. He does movies. He does speaking engagements. I just think TD needs to sit down somewhere and be still. Sometimes,
it's probably time.
Yeah, I just think he's under too much pressure. and it's too much going on for him. He may probably not sleeping well at night, and who knows what else is going on with him. We only can see what we see in social media streets, but we never know what's going on, behind closed doors. And who's to say? um I even heard, and this could just be gossip, and so it's allegedly that his wife was thinking about separating from him. And so I don't know if that's on his mind or not. And nobody has confirmed that rumor, but it was a rumor going out saying that she was thinking about leaving. And so
Sarita ain't going nowhere. If Sarita was going somewhere, she would have been gone by now. She would
that
have been
part,
gone by now. She's
right.
not going anywhere. So I think that is a rumor.
You
I
just
don't
think
think
it's
she's going
gossip and
anywhere.
rumor? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just gossip.
Yeah.
Like you said, he is under a lot of stress and
Right.
pressure, just having that big church alone.
It's
Just
stress.
having that church alone is stress. You know how many people he has to oversee and all the
Yeah.
things he got to oversee
I
and
used to attend
keeping
his church.
everything together. Yeah, I've been to his church before. I went to one of the Woman That Are Loose programs
Oh,
before,
you went
and
to
his
one of
church.
those seminars? Okay.
And it was very powerful, very powerful.
Yeah,
I got
I've been
a
to them.
few of
I've
his
been to those
books.
seminars too. I've been to it when it was in
hmm
Dallas, because it initially started in Dallas. And so when it initially started, I think I went to like maybe the second one or something like that, of that nature, before he started venturing out. And I'm just sorry. I was just never a fan of his. I I just didn't like. I like his teaching, but I just was never a fan of him. And it's nothing that he did to me personally or nothing. It's just, some people you meet and you just don't like them, and that's just and he didn't do anything to me or said anything, or he didn't even say anything out the way. I just never liked his energy for some reason. And that could be just something within me, but I just was never a fan. Now, my ex-husband was a huge fan, and that was the reason why we were going to that church, because he loved TD Jakes. I just didn't care for him that much. And like you say, I just think the man is under a lot of stress, and he has a lot going on. And I just feel like the stress just got to him. Just the stresses of everyday life, just, it's gotten to him. And who knows what else is going on with him that, the public don't know. Because a lot of times people can wear a smile on their face and still go about their day. And when they go home, they cry at night, they cry all night long. So you never know what's really going on with people, because, we all, as all of us will say, what people ask you how you feel, and you'll just say, oh, I'm okay. Even if you're in the hospital, you still all right in your mind. You'll say you're all right if you got the ability to speak. So I just think it's just a lot of pressure building up on him. And let's keep in mind, this man is getting ready to be 70 years old. He's not a young spring chicken either, to be going through the stresses that he's going through. And so he may need to slow it down, just slow his roll a little bit, maybe delegate some of the role. At one time, I thought he was allowing his daughter to preach, but it looked like he's back up there trying to do it now. And so, he may have, tried to get back to the pulpit too quickly. And what was the reason why he left? We don't know. But when the Puffy stuff came out, that's when he kind of delegated the authority to his daughter. And so it looked
Yeah.
like he may have been trying to slowly but surely come back and, on the scene, and it may not be healthy for him. Sometimes we want to do things, but we just not, our health won't allow us to do them. Although our minds say we can do things, your mind is a very strong tool. Your mind can tell you that
hmm
you can do anything, but your body will tell you something different. And I feel
Right.
like that's what's going on with TD Jakes. I just feel like he just got too much going on. What do you feel about that?
Well, yeah, he has a lot going on, and I did thought that Sarah was taking over the ministry, but I guess not. I guess he felt that he had to get back in the pulpit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, honestly to bring in the money, to be honest with you, because there's been allegedly a lot of lawsuits, against him and things like that. And maybe he, wanted to get back into the pulpit to bring the money back in, you know, to cover the lawsuits and, the attorney fees and things like that. But I totally agree that now is the time for him to really just really rethink,
Yeah, he may want to just give it up
reposition
altogether.
himself. Yeah, he needs to now he wrote this book called Reposition Yourself. He
Yeah,
need to go back and read his own book
take his
because
own
he needs to
advice.
reposition. Yeah, he needs to reposition himself and just really probably go ahead and step down and take care of this business, all this legal junk that's going around. He needs to take care of that and retire and go ahead about his business.
I think he
That's what
should.
I think.
I think he should go into the house. It'll be less stress on him, and he won't have so many
Hmm.
responsibilities. And like you said, he has money, so he can fight these suits against him and make them go away or do whatever he need to do. And he got favor. He's a powerful man. If he's been he was sitting up there with George Bush and Barack Obama, so he got a few friends that's in high places. So I'm sure that they can make a few phone calls, just like the Agent Orange is gonna make some calls to let Diddy out. Well, TD Jakes need to make a few calls to get these lawsuits gone away. Because unfortunately, that's not right, and that's not, it's not right and it's not fair. But hey, it's the American way. We live off
Yes, the
credit
American
cards.
way.
Yeah, we live off
Yeah.
credit cards and favors. That's how we do it here in America.
Hmm.
we
Yeah, but
faking
my
it till
my
we
my
make it.
my hope and prayer, because I don't know what was going on with him and P Diddy and the other guy that filed a lawsuit against him. I wasn't there, but it
Yeah,
is my prayer that this man heals, that he physically and mentally heals, and he's okay because he has touched a lot of people, and I'm one of the persons he has touched.
hmm,
So, spiritually, so it's my prayer that
yeah,
he gets better because he has touched a lot of people and he has helped a lot of people.
he has.
He
Yeah.
has. Yeah.
We can't take that away from him. We can't take that away from him.
Okay. You
Yeah,
can't take
and
no,
so
and we all are human,
yeah,
and we're all human. We got to remember that we're all human. And so
exactly,
you got to pay, you got to show some grace to some people. You just got to
exactly.
show some grace
And
and,
and that's
just
my
wish them
prayer
well.
also. That's my prayer also. Like I said, I was
Yeah.
never a fan, but I also don't like. I was never really a fan of Wendy, but like I said, I don't want to see anybody down and out, and and
Right.
doing bad as far as their health goes. I don't want to see anybody
Right.
sick, because Lord knows I know how it feel to be sick. I've been sick before, so I know exactly how it feel, and so I don't wish that on
Mhm.
anybody. And I don't
I
know if
know
you
that's
heard
right.
me, or I don't know if you heard me in the beginning of the video when I was telling everybody it's very important to be very vigilant about your health, especially when you're young. Because when you're young, you think you can master the world and nothing is going to happen to you. But it's very important. Even you don't have to run to the doctor every 5 minutes, but you definitely need to at least be getting a yearly checkup to make sure that everything, you dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's when it comes to your health. Because being proactive instead of reactive can make a world of difference.
Right. You're
And
absolutely right. And then you can look at the man and it might be something, with his weight, because he
yeah,
has that belly and that
and
that
had it for
that can't be
years.
good.
And he
Yep,
had
and
it
it
for
had it.
years. He didn't just get
Mm-hmm.
it. He's had that belly for at least 20 years. And so that can
Mm-hmm.
be healthy for him. But it looked like he's
Mm-hmm.
slimmed down a whole lot, though. He's lost a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he
Yeah.
was even
Yeah.
smaller than that, but it looked like he lost a lot of weight, and now it looked like he's trying to maybe pick it back up. And those weight loss drugs that we have now, that for the people that take diabetes, they have a drug now. I don't want to say the name of them, but everybody just know what I'm talking about. All the stars is taking it now. And they're probably going to have problems later on, because from what I read about those weight loss drugs, they're not good for you. They're eating people's stomachs up, and
Oh my
they're
God.
causing they're causing a lot of digestive issues. Because if you're
Oh.
not diabetic and you're taking that medication, it's like you're taking something that you don't really need. Your body is already producing all the insulin and all the your body is producing what it needs, and so you're putting something in there, you know, that your body don't need, and so a lot of people body is rejecting that stuff. And so a lot of
See.
people have tried that medication, they had to get off of it because, you know, it just didn't agree with them. And so who knows if he was taking one of those, because he did become diabetic, and that's one of the medications that they give the diabetics, you know, so that they can keep their weight down, so that their insulin, you know, so that pancreas can produce the insulin that it needs. And so you just never know what happened to him. You know, you never know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You
But
right.
I do
Yeah.
know
You
this
never
much.
know.
I wish him well. I wish Wendy well, and I wish both of them can bounce back. I really hope. I really
Yeah.
wholeheartedly do, because, like I said, I don't want to see anybody sick and you know, and down and out. That's not a good place to be. Trust me when I tell you that. It is not a good place to be sick. And in my opinion, your health is way more important than your wealth. Because I hear people say all the time, "Well, I don't have time to go to the doctor. I got to go to work." Well, you're not going to work if your health fail you.
Right. That's true.
Yeah, you're
If
not
you
gonna be
been in the hospital, you ain't gonna make it to work. That's
there
so
you go.
true.
You're not gonna be able to do anything if your health fail you. You're not gonna be able to go to work and nowhere else, but
And
be taking
nowhere else.
to attend to it. So you can take the time out. You take time out to do everything else. People take days off for whatever reason. You could take a day off to go see about yourself, and that's all I have to say about it. And you should take
Yep.
time, but make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Mac Man After Dark channel, or you can like and make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Mac Man Morning Show, because this is an extension from the Mac Man Morning Show. And like I said, the Mac Man is on vacation, and so you guys don't have to listen. You don't have to worry. He will be back. Most definitely, he'll be back next week on Monday, and so he's gonna make my load a little bit lighter. And Yvonne, I would like to thank you for joining me tonight. And do you have any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, I'm good. I just want to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving, happy Turkey Day. Enjoy your family, hug your family, show some love to people, give them their roses while they are still here and can receive them in their right mind. And just everybody have a good holiday.
Amen to that. And that was real nice and sweet of you. And we'd like to thank everybody that joined us tonight. Thank you, Q Law, for coming in into the chat. And thank you if you're listening to the replay. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Mac Man Morning Show and the Mac Man After Dark Show. And I'm probably not going to come on Thursday night. I have to do Thursday morning. Because the radio station is still going to be on Thursday morning. So I will be on Thursday morning for the Mac Man Morning Show, but I can't guarantee you that I'll be on Thursday night. Like I said, once I go to my family house, it's probably going to be a wrap.
Okay, okay.
After
Yeah, spend some time with your family.
I
Yep,
will.
definitely spend the time with your family.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to overload myself since I'm having to do both shows also too. And so
Right.
thank everybody for joining us. You guys have a happy Thanksgiving. And like Yvonne says, show some love towards your family. Go see some of your family members that you haven't seen in a long time for Thanksgiving if you have the time. And just to show some love, because we never know what's going to happen to us, and we never know what tomorrow holds. So definitely show some love, spread some love and joy, and have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.